What is up, my fellow Chibits? Hopefully all of you are having a very good day today. And so with that being said, I was actually not going to do a video of Welcome to the Ballroom today. I was actually going to save this for tomorrow, but after watching the episode, I was like, I can't. I cannot delay this. I cannot. Because I wanted to do some other things, but then when I just saw how good this episode was after watching it, I'm like, I gotta talk about it, because it was that good of an episode. This is probably one of the best episodes of Welcome to the Ballroom since the series begun. And it's definitely a breath of fresh air after the previous arc. Now, don't get me wrong, the last arc was good in its own way in terms of story progression, character development, all that. It was great, but there was some obvious flaws with it. It did feel like it was dragged out for a little bit too long, and so there were some things I just didn't like completely with it. But it was still good, it was still enjoyable, because obviously I'm still here. If I didn't like it, I would have already dropped the series. So, this episode was just a breath of fresh air, but added on top of that, it had good voice acting, good art, good animation, great music, great dancing. It just had everything, and it even had good character introductions in this episode. So, just automatically, this episode was just so good, I could not delay talking about it because of just how it grasped me and didn't let me go until the episode was done. So anyways, with this episode, we have a new opening song. Now, the new opening song, in all honesty, I believe the new opening song should have been saved until next week's episode. Because the conflict of this episode, it introduces the fact that, you know, Fujita, he's single. He doesn't have a partner. After Mako has left, she's back with her brother, and, you know, Shizuku, she's back with who she needs to be, you know, Hyodo. Fujita, he no longer has a partner. And it leaves this big hole, and you're all asking, like, who's he gonna be with? However, the opening song straight up spoils that. Now, the conflict of the episode, like I said, was Fujita trying to find a partner. But this was introduced after the fact the opening song played. And the opening song doesn't try to hide anything whatsoever. There was a new girl in the opening, which obviously, if you watched the last episode, which you should have, you shouldn't be on this episode, you have a girl at the end of the episode that's introduced, and she was obviously being hyped up to be, like, the partner or whatever for Fujita, because as I was told while, you know, watching the last arc, we were all told, actually, that Mako isn't the main girl. Apparently, we haven't even met the, you know, the main girl yet for, you know, Welcome to the Ballroom, so that's been built up for a while now, and so with this episode, when we get to see this girl in the opening, it's obvious that she is, you know, going to be his permanent partner. Now, in terms of the opening song, visuals, art, animation, everything, music, I think it's actually a step beyond the previous opening. It's definitely better, or at the very least, I enjoy this opening song more than the previous one. I feel like it was a really good improvement. But besides that, though, there was some glaring flaws of the opening, and the biggest concern is the fact that it spoiled who Fujita was going to be with. Now, like I said, if this opening would have been saved for next week, I feel like I would have been completely fine with it. But because the conflict was introduced in this episode, that he's single now, but the opening song played first, it made the conflict pointless. You don't really worry, because you know for a fact he's going to be with this girl, because she was introduced in this episode, and then you see her at the end of the episode, and it's obvious that she's going to be his partner. Even if I wasn't told that he was going to end up with someone, it was just obvious by the way the episode was done, but also the opening song. It just straight up spoiled it, and you're like, here you go, this is who he's going to be with. So, like I said, I feel like the opening song should have been saved for next week's episode instead of this one. They should have, like, kept the original opening, or they should have skipped the opening entirely, and just cut to the new ending song, and then give us a new, you know, opening song next week, because I feel like it just ruined the conflict of this episode. Anyways, let's get on track and talk about what the episode was about. So this episode is like an episode to calm down, because the previous episode has been about a competition, or the previous episodes have been about a competition, and we get to see how Fujita would perform in an actual competition. This episode, Fujita gets to reflect on everything that has happened, for instance, his performance. Now, us as the audience watching this series, or if you're a manga reader and you're watching, it doesn't matter. Regardless, though, looking at Fujita's performance in this competition, we got to see some flaws within him, what he needs to improve and work on. And it's obvious, he has a lot to work on. He is a newcomer. He is someone that is new to dancing, and obviously he's not going to be on par with all the other dancers because they just have years of experience on them. That's a big thing. Even though this episode tried to show that some newbies can be professionals eventually, that it could be the case for anyone. Yes, I understand that. That is a true thing. However, even then, experience does matter. It's a big thing. It's a very big thing. Even if your potential is high and you can be a giant, even though you only have 2 years of experience compared to someone that has 15, it doesn't matter. Experience still matters. No matter what, experience matters a lot. Especially in something that is like a sport or dancing or whatever, you need experience. You need a lot of, years of growth or whatever to be able to build up that endurance, that strength. And Fuchida does not have that. And so it was obvious from us watching that he lacked endurance, he lacked experience, but on top of that, he was someone that was just not that good of a dancer. Like, he clearly, in his final part and stretches, he just wasn't good at dancing. He was able to be a good lead, he was able to lead Mako and allow her to bloom, but overall, he just doesn't know how to properly dance yet, because he just doesn't have the stamina to be able to do it. Now, that does not mean that he doesn't have potential, because Fuchida has proven, especially with how quickly he has grown, that he has a lot of potential to be one of the best dancers in the world, thanks to how he's able to pay attention and figure out how certain people maneuver and dance. Like when he was looking at Sengoku in this episode, and he realized just the difference in level between him and Sengoku, that showed how good he is at learning, how he is able to pay attention and become aware of what someone is doing or how they move, and how he can copy that and use it for himself. When he sees that entire dance from Sengoku, he realizes how amazing Sengoku was. Now, us as the audience, we were already very aware. We were very aware that Sengoku was probably one of the best dancers, and it was just obvious because of how he was, how he acted, and all that, and the little hints here and there throughout the beginning of the series. It was just obvious he was really good. But this was the first time that we, as the audience, and also Fuchida, got to see him firsthand how good he was, and he was extremely good. He was on a whole new level, something we have not seen from this series yet. Sengoku, when he was dancing, he was like he was moving through water. He was just going with the current, and the way it looked, it was just the visuals, like the symbolism of it, looked really good. And I like how Fuchida was able to understand the message of that and realized what it looked like. So this is obviously going to be used for Fuchida's future dance moves. I can definitely see that. Whatever was going on this episode, what Sengoku did, I feel like Fuchida's going to copy that and use that for his future partner when he goes to the final part, like, the pro competition. I could definitely see that happening. Anyways, though, let's talk about his reflection. So Fuchida realizes he has a lot to improve on. He realizes that he doesn't have a lot of years on him like others. He realizes that he is not really that good of a dancer. When he goes over to Shizuku and all that and he look at the DVD of the previous dance, he realizes that he looks so bad, but he was smiling because he was having fun, which is a good thing. At the end of the day, having fun is very important, but he wasn't a good dancer, and he realized that, and now he knows what he needs to work on. So the first thing for the path of improvement is to realize where your issues are and how bad they are, and that's how you can improve. And at least now he knows where he needs to work at and work on to better improve himself, and then we can go from there. So I'm glad to see that type of character development for him. Now let's talk about the other stuff that happened. So we had character introductions in this episode. We had the new dance partner, which is obvious thanks to the opening song. She's going to be, Fuchida's main dance partner. Now, at first glance from her personality, she seems to be like someone that's kind of rude, but at the same time, I feel like there's a hidden side to her. She's definitely hiding something, especially towards the end of the episode. It makes it very clear. Let me explain. Fuchida opens up to the class and is like, I like to dance. And when you hear something like that, especially if you're like, you've heard all sorts of sports, when you hear someone say they like to dance or whatever, and they say ballroom dancing or competitive dance, that's going to feel very strange to you. It would. I mean, okay, let's say you're going to school or whatever, and then someone, in front of you says like, hey, I want to do football, professional football, I want to do baseball, basketball, whatever. You hear this, that sounds relatively normal. But then someone stands up and is like, I want to do professional, ballroom dance. Many are going to look at that person like, that's very obscure. That's like really out there compared to everything else you hear, and it doesn't mean it's weird, it's something you do not hear often, and so it takes a lot of courage to be able to say something like that, because it's really weird, especially, how society is. Society would look at someone that likes dancing, especially, you know, Fujita, they would look at it like it's really weird. And it shows that he has grown as a person to be able to admit what he likes and not hide it. He just flat out admitted he wants to dance. So I'm just glad that he did not hide his passion from everyone in the room. However, the girl in front of him, which is, you know, his dance partner, soon-to-be dance partner, she turns around and is like, oh, that's very lame. Now, at first glance, you would probably think she's just rude, but I feel like she's hiding something, because right before he said what he liked, she said she liked music. Now, I'm going to assume the reason why she likes ballroom dancing is because of the classic music, but also because she does like to dance, but she just didn't want to say it because, like I've already talked about, maybe it's just too embarrassing. She doesn't want to admit that she likes dancing in front of the class. And Fujita, since, you know, he was able to do that, maybe she was just lashing out at him because she was upset with herself that she couldn't admit that she liked dancing too. That could be why she acted like that. Now, what also backs this up is the ending part of the episode when, you know, Fujita, he runs into her. She falls down with him and all that, and he looks at her, and he's questioning, like, why is she there? The reason why she's probably there is because she's just hiding the fact that she likes ballroom dancing, and she just didn't want to admit it at all. That's what I feel is going on there. Now, moving on, let's talk about the other character introduction. Sengoku's partner. Now, I don't remember her name, so forgive me for that. However, in terms of personality, I gotta say, I like her. I like her a lot. I really, really like her a lot. Just the personality alone is really nice. I like how she was, like, very aggressive and just, like, fiery personality towards Sengoku and all that. They got in, like, a little scuffle, but then when as soon as she saw, like, you know, Fujita, she got, like, all sweet and all that, like a mentor, and she just started kissing him and hugging him. I'm like, oh, this is amazing. So I just really like her character. I think she's really adorable. I would love more of that character in the future of the series. Now, moving on to the next thing, Gaju also, he is very relevant still after the previous arc. He is now going to be in the same school as Fujita, which shows that he's going to be a consistent character. He's not going to be just thrown to the side and never pop up again. Now he's someone that's going to, you know, be a reoccurring character throughout the series. So I'm happy to see that. So that's about it when it comes to the latest episode of Welcome to the Ballroom. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, how you felt about this episode. If you like this video, leave a like, and if you want to support me, I have a Patreon link in the description. You can click it and help me out, because it does help me out a lot. It allows me to continue to focus on YouTube. And so, you all have a wonderful day or night, wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.